Allie here from Allie's Leaf Lab. Today, we're making something so simple and so powerful, a healing soup with sweet garden carrots and fresh thyme. Right from Allie's Leaf Lab. Let's get started. We'll head out to the garden and harvest the ingredients we need to make this recipe. Then I'll show you how to make it. But if you want to skip ahead, you can click the chapters down below. So let's begin with our first ingredient, carrots. They're an all-time favorite snack here. My daughter loves them raw. My son prefers them roasted. Me, I love them both ways. Carrots grow really easily from seed and they're ready to harvest around 70 to 90 days later. Now these are called sweet garden carrots. You might also see other types of carrots at the store like baby carrots or even purple carrots. All carrots are good for you and have a little bit different flavor profiles. Sweet garden carrots are great for eating raw or cooking. Baby carrots are smaller, so they're quicker to eat. And while the tops are usually removed before selling, you can absolutely eat them too. Just wash them well. Purple carrots can be eaten raw or cooked. Their color comes from anthocyanins, which have additional antioxidant benefits. And finally, a fun fact about carrots. During World War II, farmers in the Netherlands grew carrots to help the Dutch resist the Germans. The orange color of the carrot represented freedom. So if you have the space, consider planting a row of carrots this year. Another ingredient we're using today is thyme. You'll often find it growing wild in your lawn or garden because it is a perennial herb that grows back every year. Thyme has a long history as one of nature's antibiotics. It's been used for thousands of years for respiratory ailments and even to increase energy. In medieval times, thyme was placed under pillows to prevent nightmares. Thyme pairs well with many dishes like soups, stews, beans, chicken, fish, and even fruit. Thyme is in the mint family, but unlike mint, it doesn't spread aggressively. So don't worry, you won't end up with an entire field of thyme if you plant it. I have quite a few plants growing near my front door, and I love walking up to my house and breathing in their wonderful scent. If you don't have thyme growing in your garden, check your spice rack. Chances are you have some dried thyme there. And if you have a dried version, it's likely that it will be labeled as common garden thyme. You'll still be able to use it to make this recipe, but I do recommend increasing the amount since the flavors are more concentrated. And now let's head back to the kitchen and get cooking. First, grab a large pot or Dutch oven and set it over medium heat. Next, we're going to chop up 1 onion and add it to the pot. Then we'll add in 2 cloves of garlic and 6 carrots. I'm using 3 large carrots here, but feel free to use as many as you have on hand. Continue to fry this on medium heat for about 3 to 4 minutes until the onions start getting translucent, and then we'll add in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Olive oil is a healthy fat that contains antioxidants and is great for cooking. Add in another tablespoon of olive oil and continue to fry the vegetables on medium heat until the onions are nice and translucent. Once the onions are translucent, we'll add in 4 cups of broth. For this recipe, I'm using vegetable broth, but feel free to use whatever broth you prefer. Add in 1 teaspoon of sea salt and some freshly cracked black pepper. We're almost done with the sautéing process, so add in the 4 sprigs of fresh thyme. Thyme has a long history as one of nature's antibiotics. Now we'll bring this mixture to a boil and then reduce the heat to low and simmer for 20 minutes. This allows the flavors to meld and the carrots to soften. If you're using dried thyme, I recommend adding it towards the end of the simmering time so it doesn't become bitter. And if you want to be extra thrifty, feel free to use those carrot tops we talked about earlier. Just chop them up and add them into the pot during the simmering stage. After the vegetables have simmered for 20 minutes, we're ready to blend the soup. Carefully transfer the soup in batches to a blender. Be careful not to fill the blender up too full since hot liquids expand, and you don't want to end up with a messy situation on your hands. Alternatively, you can use an immersion blender directly in the pot. And once you've blended the soup until creamy, you're ready to serve. This soup is so delicious and comforting. It's a perfect after-school soup, a cozy winter lunch, or a healing helper when you feel a sniffle coming on. And speaking of colds and sniffles, carrots are rich in beta-carotene, which is a fancy name for the stuff that keeps your eyes, skin, and immune system strong. And thyme? Well, it's one of nature's antibiotics. That's why thyme tea is a popular folk remedy for coughs, colds, and congestion. Now, if you want to add some extra flavor to your soup, try adding in 1/2 cup of grated fresh ginger. Ginger has anti-inflammatory properties and adds a nice spiciness to this soup. Or if you prefer a sweeter soup, try adding in 1/2 cup of coconut milk. Coconut milk adds a lot of richness and creaminess to this soup. Plus, it contains electrolytes and medium-chain triglycerides, which can support your immune system. And if you're looking for more recipes to try with carrots and thyme, click the links up above. Speaking of recipes, last week we made a carrot ginger turmeric smoothie bowl, and it was so fun to see all of your comments and messages telling us about your smoothie bowl creations. Here's a message from one of our subscribers. She says, I have a question. Can I freeze my smoothie and then put it in my Ninja Foodie to make the frozen yogurt? And yes, you can do that. In fact, I've even frozen half of this smoothie bowl in ice cube trays and then used those cubes to make a smoothie yogurt. Another message came from a new subscriber. She says, just watched your video on smoothie bowls. Thank you. I'm a type 2 diabetic on medication. Do you think eating a smoothie bowl daily would be okay? Great question. And I do think smoothie bowls can be a great addition to your diet, but please talk to your doctor about how smoothie bowls may fit into your overall meal plan and medication. Remember, I'm just a random person on YouTube and I'm not qualified to give medical advice. And finally, another viewer asked, can I use peanut butter in a smoothie bowl? Yes, and yes. Peanut butter is a great source of protein and healthy fats, and it would go really well in a smoothie bowl. I like to buy natural peanut butter without added sugar or oils. And then I add it to smoothies, smoothie bowls, toast, and even apples. And now it's time for our final step. Let's wrap up by talking about the power of herbs and even some magical uses for thyme. Herbs have been used for centuries for medicinal purposes, and many of your favorite kitchen herbs like thyme, sage, rosemary, and oregano were originally used for their healing properties. Thyme has antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties. So next time you're enjoying a nice meal seasoned with fresh thyme, take a moment to appreciate its healing power. Speaking of appreciation, I have to thank you for being here. If your garden could talk, it would say, let's turn plants into medicine. Subscribe for more at Allie's Leaf Lab. And if you want to learn more about edible landscaping, be sure to sign up for our free edible landscaping webinar. I'll provide the link below. Also be sure to follow us on social media. I'll provide the link below. Every day, we share tips for incorporating more plants into your life. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.